Hello everybody, this is Shady here, and obviously we are back with another Shady Recommends. And today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite games of all time, Lost Odyssey. Yeah, this is a Japanese RPG made by Mistwalker Studios for the Xbox 360. So if you guys don't know, Mistwalker is basically Hironobu Sakaguchi studio. So basically he left Square Enix and obviously, you know, he started his own studio. But one of the first things he did was work alongside Microsoft, because at this point, Microsoft wanted to, with the Xbox 360 at least, they wanted to appeal to the Japanese market. So they basically said, we will help you set up your studio and fund and all you have to do is make 2 games for us that we'll fund, obviously. And those games were Blue Dragon, which is essentially his take on, you know, Dragon Quest, pretty much. And Lost Odyssey, which is basically his Final Fantasy X, a lot of people like to call it. Some people even refer to it as like the real Final Fantasy 13. Like, you know, I like 13, so I don't necessarily agree with that. But Lost Odyssey. So to get into it, this is basically, like I said, pretty much Final Fantasy and everything but name. It's a big budget Unreal Engine 3 RPG that's turn-based, very traditional, but has some kind of cool, unique mechanics that makes it bit different to other JRPGs. Essentially, in this game, we are playing as an immortal called Kaim, who has lost his memory. He's working alongside this military group, essentially as a mercenary, and he's sent by who appears to be his friend Gongora to investigate Grand Staff, because this is basically it's essentially a giant kind of tower that kind of uses magical energy. It's essentially meant to be like almost like a nuclear reactor in this world, the equivalency of, and then it kind of goes from there. And obviously, as he goes on, he unlocks more of his memories and all that, and it's a part of the story, but also an interesting mechanic in the game. So essentially, this game has this thing called 1,000 Years in Dreams, and essentially what this is, as you go through the game, or as you go into certain areas, you will unlock these what are essentially little kind of novellas, I suppose, or like short stories that are actually text-based that you have to read, and are just amazing. Really add a lot of depth to the world. Most of them are obviously of Kaim's memories, what he's done in 1,000 years. It's called 1,000 Years of Dreams because obviously he's an immortal, he's been around that long. And yeah, it's just a really great game. And obviously it's a traditional turn-based RPG. You have, alongside your immortal characters, who you have a bunch of, you have immortal characters. No, you have mortal and immortal characters. Mortal characters, basically, they can learn abilities as they level up. And immortals can't learn any abilities, but they can learn abilities of items and immortal characters. Similar to like Final Fantasy IX style. So basically, all your characters will have different magic abilities and attack abilities. Essentially, the mortals will be like your kind of basic classes: black mage, white mage, warrior, blah blah. And your immortals, you can kind of turn into whatever character you want. Almost, you can equip them with abilities. Almost like it almost feels like very similar to the system in Final Fantasy V, the ability system there, or like Final Fantasy IX, like I said, a little bit like that. The graphics are amazing because obviously it was an Unreal Engine 3 game, so yeah, it still looks really good. Like I said, this game is on the Xbox 360. It's a 4-disc epic as well, full of like amazing cutscenes, like practically fully voiced, very cinematic. The opening cutscene is incredible. Like, it very much feels like you know, straight out of a Final Fantasy game. And yeah, it's just a great game. I think it's one of the best JRPGs ever made, but unfortunately it was released for the Xbox 360 and just didn't do very well. Never really gained that audience. It's always been that kind of cult, kind of classic game, never kind of risen above that. The great thing is, though, a few really good things about this game. One, it's backwards compatible. Yeah, so you can play it on an Xbox One or Series system. It should still be available to buy. I believe certain regions it was taken away from the store, but I think it should still be available in like Europe or something. And yeah, obviously you can just get the disc anyway, and it runs, obviously you install it and it runs off disc. And the good thing is with that particular version, playing it on, you know, Xbox Series X or One X, is it sorts out any kind of performance issues and upscales the resolution. So it's kind of one of the best ways to play the game. But obviously, what's really good now is there's essentially now, obviously, you have Zinnia, which is basically Xbox 360 emulation. But now there's kind of another amazing thing people have done, where they're able to turn 360 games into native Windows games, or native PC games. So there's actually like a native PC version of Lost Odyssey now. Obviously, you know, you'll have to source your own ROM, do the conversion, all that yourself. I can't tell you about any of that stuff. You don't have to do it, you'll have to figure it out yourself. Google is your friend, as they say. But yeah, it's really cool, and obviously, you know, as beefy as your PC is, that's probably how you can get the best possible performance out of this game. But it's still good even on the 360. I would personally suggest, if you're going to play it on Series X, because it basically takes away all the load times, because that was one of the big issues with the game, is it loads a lot between kind of areas. You can install it on 360 as well, because that was an option that was added, and that will reduce some of the stuff, but not as much as it would on the Series system. So, but what's really cool is, yeah, like I said, it's on 4 discs, which is just like a classic thing. Yeah, the 360 was kind of like the last console to do that, as, you know, I mean, I guess you kind of get it in a way, but this is 4 discs where every disc, you know, is, you actually have to insert each disc like a classic Final Fantasy. The music's incredible, obviously, because it's Nobuo Uematsu, who obviously did all the classic Final Fantasy themes from 1 to 9. Yeah, him and Sakuchi pretty much always work together. And yeah, the soundtrack is incredible. The battle music, every track is amazing. It's one of the best. It's up there with his soundtrack for Final Fantasy 9, really is. And yeah, it's just an incredible game. Please check it out and play it. It is incredible. I just hope now that Microsoft are like a third party, we are going to get a remaster of this at some point. Obviously, they've done it with Oblivion. They've done kind of a Gears of War remaster now. Or basically a full-on remake. Hopefully this comes soon, because I really feel like if you were to bring this game to like PS5, Steam, and Switch 2, it would be really successful and finally be able to capture that audience. But obviously, you know, you got the other ways to play it, and it is great. Anyway, guys, that's everything for the review. Check it out. It's a great game. Have a great day.